Hey everyone, welcome back to Daily Devotions. Pastor Steve here walking with you in Exodus chapter 7. We are along our way talking about the rescue of God and walking together in that. And so thanks for walking with us, especially in chapter 6 as it just continues to show us who God is, how he's in control, and who he is as our authoritative Lord. And as we go forth with that, he actually names that in this next chapter, chapter 7 of Exodus. And we're just going to read the first couple segments of it because when it gets into the plagues, I really want to take these plagues, not necessarily slower, but really meaningful. And I hate to split that up over some time frames between the videos. So really want this to go all together. So we'll cover all the plagues next week and being able to get those in the next 5 videos as we see those 10 plagues, 2 plagues a time. So that's my preparation for you. That's my plan for you so you can know what to expect. But as we walk forward in chapter 7, we have these first couple spots that really we want to walk forward in. And as we were talking in this last chapter, just a little review, is this: Pharaoh thinks he's God. Pharaoh thinks he's in control, and Pharaoh thinks he has the authority. This is where it starts off in chapter 7 where God says of who Moses is going to be to Pharaoh. Take a listen in. So verse 1, chapter 7, Exodus. Then the Lord said to Moses, "See, I have made you like God to Pharaoh, and your brother Aaron will be your prophet." I want you to take a look back at that because almost in every English translation, there's a word inserted, because it just didn't jive well with those who were translating that it would actually say this. So if you see the 4-letter like word before God in your English translation, you can box that in and toss it out. In the Hebrew, that's not there. So let me read this to you how the Hebrew reads. It says, "See, behold, I have made you God to Pharaoh, and Aaron, your brother, is your prophet." So as this comes forth in this way of being able to say, now Moses is placed in this authority. All authority has been given in heaven has been given to me, but now go and make disciples, right? Jesus always pushing his authority into the place of proclamation, in the place of God's mission. And so as we get to see here with God, what he does to Moses, he puts him in authority. That he's going to make him God to Pharaoh. You're going to be in authority. You're going to be in charge. You're going to be the one actually dictating and leading him. Although it's going to be on the part of God. And Aaron's going to be your prophet. He's going to be the proclaimer. So don't worry about your failure of lips, right? Faltering lips. Sorry, your faltering lips. Don't worry about your doubt and your fear. I've got that plan. You're going to be God to Pharaoh. Aaron's going to be a prophet, and I'm going to take care of the rest, as I always do. And so he says this. He says, "You are to say everything I command you, and your brother Aaron is to tell Pharaoh." So actually, you're leading Aaron, so that he leads Pharaoh to let the Israelites go out of his country. Verse 3, "But I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and though I multiply my miraculous signs and wonders in Egypt, he will not listen to you." There's the promise. That's going to become fulfilled if you know the story, that Pharaoh just doesn't listen because his heart is hardened. Why would that happen? You're going to find out in these plagues, because it isn't about the calamity of Egypt. It is about God, Yahweh, being the Lord that is in charge and authority and being the Lord of all. We're going to find that out about these plagues in these next videos. A cliffhanger for you, right? But being able to say he's going to harden his heart so that the miraculous signs are going to be done in Egypt. In verse 4, "He will not listen to you. Then I will lay my hand on Egypt, and with mighty acts of judgment I will bring out my divisions, my people, the Israelites. And the Egyptians will know that they're pretty powerful, that I am the Lord, when I stretch out my hand against Egypt and bring the Israelites out of it." The power of the world at that time is going to know the power and who is the Lord. Verse 6, "Moses and Aaron did just as the Lord commanded them. Moses was 80 years old and Aaron 83 when they spoke to Pharaoh." Sometimes it's not our faltering lips that are excused. It's our age. It's our knowledge. It's our whatever, fill in the blank. Don't make an excuse when God gives you a calling. Think about this. 40 years old, Moses kills this Egyptian, buries him in the sand, and then all of a sudden the Hebrews take note of this, and they're saying, you're going to do that to us? He goes out. He actually wanders in the wilderness for 40 years, shepherding a flock of his father-in-law. And for those 40 years, he was prepared for, at 80 years old, to be called by a burning bush, to be able to go into the power of the world at that time, at 80 years old, walking through, yes, the wilderness, the mountainous areas, into the rivers, into the deltas, going into Egypt and saying, hey, the power in the world, the greatest people that is envisioned at that point in time, me, this old man, is demanding that you let all these people go that are serving you and making your economy the greatest in the world. Right? I mean, come on. It's unheard of. It's divine. It's not how man would choose it. But this 80-year-old and this 83-year-old, and you're saying, well, they weren't as old back then. Actually, that's changed now. That's changed. They're only going to be 120 years old at this point. So this is the last fourth of the life that we get to see, last third of the life that we get to see of Moses, and he does it, and he's able to do it, and he's able to actually wander in the desert for a wilderness for 40 more years with the Israelites because of God's provision. And it is the Lord that has commanded him to do this. So never doubt the calling that the Lord has you on. Age, knowledge, education, fill in the blank. If the Lord calls you to his task, gladly say, here am I. Verse 8, the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, when Pharaoh says to you, perform a miracle, then say to Aaron, take your staff and throw it down before Pharaoh, and it will become a snake. So Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and did just as the Lord commanded. Aaron threw his staff down in front of Pharaoh and his officials, and it became a snake. Pharaoh then summoned wise men and sorcerers, and the Egyptian magicians also did the same things by their secret arts. Each one threw down his staff, and it became a snake. But Aaron's staff swallowed up their staffs. Yet Pharaoh's heart became hard, and he would not listen to them, just as the Lord had said. So even in the miracles, we're going to see real quickly here within the plagues that God's power is made manifest in some kind of way. Okay, it was the staff for this first miracle. But even in the miracle, there was greater power on the side of God rather than on the side of Pharaoh. But Pharaoh doesn't want to give up that authority. He has sorcerers. He has magicians, and being able to understand that he can bring about these things as well. He's confronting the authority and the power that God is going to display. And he's going to try to go toe-to-toe with that. And you're going to see that within these next plagues as we get into these next chapters. But always we keep our eyes on. Make sure you keep your eyes on, because it can be diverted really easy of saying, oh, the Nile's turned to blood, something about the water, something. No, this is about God being declared the God of all the earth. This is God being declared as the God of his people, the one who's in charge, the one who's in authority, the one who is Lord over all. That's our God. And that God that has all the power and all the majesty and all, just almighty God and all of his wisdom and everything about him. What did he choose to do to show you that he loved you? He became one of us. He lowered himself into a human form and took the attitude of a human and died with his son, Jesus Christ. And that covenant was fulfilled. That God who is in charge and authority took it all from his son, left him alone on a cross, but then raised him with all authority in heaven and on earth from the dead. And now he's alive, and he has all authority and all power and is seated on the throne. So, blessings on your day as you have that vision, as you have that understanding, as you have that closeness and love of God drawing near to you. And yet that God, he's the God who's sitting on his throne today in everything that we encounter. He has the authority. And his authority is to draw near to you and to love you this day and care for you this day. Have a blessed day knowing that God is doing that for you.